Okay, today we're talking about wireless camera systems. We start off with a camera, and that camera is going to generate a video signal, an electrical signal, which is then plugged into a transmitter. And the transmitter is going to convert the video signal into radio waves. Now, just to give you an idea of what this looks like, the transmitter is shown here in this photo. It's the big box-shaped object. The camera is a bullet camera in this example, and it's about the size of your thumb. Okay, now at the other end is a receiver, and this receiver is going to be another electronic device that receives the radio signals and converts them back into a video signal that can then be recorded and viewed by whatever type of device you have at the other end. The signal is plugged in from the receiver into the device that you want to record to. And of course we have a monitor so that we can watch the video signal in real time. And let's not forget that every electronic device requires a power source. And this is important to note, especially when you're going to a wireless camera system, because each camera is going to require its own individual transmitter and receiver. So for each camera that you add, you have additional pieces of equipment that are going to require their own power sources. Okay, here's our setup. The video signal from the camera is plugged into the transmitter, and that transmitter converts that signal into radio waves, which are then transmitted through space and to the other side where the receiver is located. And that receiver takes those radio signals and converts them back into a video signal, which is then plugged into the recording device or monitoring device. Now, it's important to keep in mind that because the wireless systems utilize radio frequency waves in the 2.4 gigahertz range, there is the possibility of interference. There are many wireless devices today that utilize the 2.4 gigahertz range, cordless phones, wireless internet devices, and so on and so forth. And any one of these things can potentially interfere with your wireless camera system. So you want to keep that in mind, especially if you live in a very crowded urban area where there's a high population density. Okay, the question of transmission range often comes up. Just how far can the transmitter transmit the signal and still get a decent quality picture? Typically, if there's a clear line of sight between the transmitter and receiver, you get about 700 feet from a standard grade transmitter receiver pair, and that distance increases to about 2,000 feet for a commercial grade transmitter receiver pair. There are also specialized high-powered long-range transmitters that can transmit signals 15 to 30 miles line of sight. Now, it's important to note that the distances given here are for line of sight. That means no obstruction between the transmitter and the receiver and a clear line of sight between the two. Any obstructions are going to decrease the transmission range. So you need to keep that in mind when you're implementing one of these systems. Okay, let's talk about some of the advantages of wireless systems. The first obvious advantage is, well, there's no video cable to worry about, since the wireless system uses radio waves to transmit the video signal. This can be really helpful when it's inconvenient to lay down or wire a video cable. However, bear in mind that the camera and the transmitter will both require power, so it's not 100% wireless in that sense. Now, wireless systems are especially suited to farmers and ranchers in rural areas that need to protect their livestock or observe their horses foaling. Maybe they need to protect their farm equipment and keep an eye on it, and there's long distances between their homes and their farms, so they may not find it practical to lay down video cable over a great distance, so these wireless systems come in handy in those areas. Now we're going to take a look at some of the disadvantages of wireless systems. Wireless systems use radio waves in the 2.4 gigahertz range, and because of this they're susceptible to possible interference with the video signal. There's a variety of devices that use this 2.4 gigahertz frequency range: cordless phones, wireless internet devices. Any of these has the potential to affect the video transmission in a wireless system, so you need to keep that in mind. Now, the second main disadvantage of a wireless camera system is that each camera requires its own transmitter-receiver pair, so this obviously adds to the cost of the wireless system. Finally, wireless camera systems are not 100% wireless in the sense that you need to have power for the camera and the transmitter, and that requires a power cord. The exception to this is a wireless system that uses a battery-powered camera and battery-powered transmitter. Now, these are common in short-term portable surveillance applications. However, they're not practical for long-term permanent installations.